Well, hello everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Yukon Bob Seadoo channel. Nice to see you back with us again. It's been a couple of weeks since I had a video out. As I mentioned a couple of videos ago, I've been up in the Yukon for a little bit of time. And then I kind of got a little bit sick while I was up there. A bit of a sore throat, sinus problem, plugged the ears up, so I didn't get out last week and make a video. But we are on the water today, riding with the Seadoo Tours riding group today. Got the Seadoo all hooked up, loaded up, and check that out. We've got the new Garmin, the new 9-inch Garmin on there. I'll tell you more about that a little bit later on when we get out on the water. I think we've pretty much got everything ready to go. Camera gear's all in there. It's about an hour, 50-minute drive to where I'm going today. We're going into the Kawarthas, up near kind of the Peterborough area, north of Peterborough. And the lake we're going to be riding today is called Sturgeon Lake. It is got a lock on it. It's part of the Trent-Severn waterway system. Bobcaygeon's on that lake. We'll tell you more about that as well when we get up there. But I think I've got everything loaded. Might stop and grab a coffee before I head out of town because it is early. It's about 6:45 in the morning, something like that. And I think I'm just about ready to go. So, hey, good to see you again. Nice to have you back with us. Let's get in the truck and let's get underway. We've got the coffee and a breakfast sandwich at Tim's this morning, and we are set to hit the road. So I've been back from the Yukon for, I don't know, over a week and a half now. But while I was in the Yukon, I got a little bit sick up there. I got a sore throat. It seemed to develop as soon as I got to the Yukon, and that sore throat after a couple of days up there then turned into this blocked ear situation where I was having trouble hearing out of one ear. The sinuses were blocked. So I tried the Tylenol over-the-counter medication, sinus and cold, and that seemed to help, but it was just temporary. When I got back from the Yukon, I then decided I better get some amoxicillin because it might be a bacterial infection. But I've been on that for 5 days now, something like that, and it hasn't really cleared it. So maybe it's a viral infection, not a bacterial infection. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, I've got one ear still kind of blocked, so if I sound a little funny talking today, it's because I'm kind of overcompensating or undercompensating for that blocked ear. It's just it's a little weird talking to camera with that situation, but I will survive. I'll just give it a little bit longer and see what the heck happens in the days ahead. Okay, we have arrived at our launch point, and in case you're wondering where we are, this is 180 Crane Bay Road on Sturgeon Lake. This is a new launch site for us. We haven't been here before, at least I haven't been here before. And I think the reason we're here is that this is a free launch site. So it won't cost us anything to put the boats in here. And then we can just park up there. Morning, Greg.
Morning, Bob.
Greg, once again, beat me to the spot. Are you the first one here, Greg?
I am.
Greg's the first one here. How was your ride up?
Very good, actually.
Yeah, nice country roads coming in here. Farming country. It's a pretty drive.
Beautiful.
Nice. How's the lake look?
Calm as hell.
Okay.
And good to go, man.
Yeah. How's the ramp?
That looks pretty good.
Con-
Oh, but it's good.
Got a concrete pad here. Just have a quick look. Just gonna check out the dock where we're gonna tie up to. Oh yeah, it's even a graded thing. There's a bunch of crap here on the launch here, but yeah, I don't know if it breaks up there or drops off, but it's a nice incline. Should be no problem to get into Sturgeon Lake.
It goes all the way up to here.
Does it really? Okay. So it's plenty deep enough. It looks like a pretty good launch. So let's get a few things unhooked and a few things loaded onto the Seadoo and get ready to get into the water. Camera gear there. I didn't have the cover on the Seadoo because it was pretty much pavement all the way up, so I'll just hook up some cameras on there, put a few things into the hatch, and we should just about be ready to go. Grab the drone. Not sure how much use I'll get out of the drone because when you're with the Seadoo Tours riding group, you often don't have a lot of time to fly the drone, but we'll see. Once again, the nice thing about riding with the Seadoo Tours riding group is you've got some assistance in putting your Seadoo into the water. Got Greg backing the Seadoo in, and I'll just drive it right off. Okay, Peter's here with us today. He's just pulling in now. This is the parking just up on the grass here. It's not all that far from where the launch site is, so that works pretty well. Looks like there's enough parking for 7-8 machines, something like that, with a little creative parking. So Andrew's just telling me the route for today. It sounds like we're going to do quite a few lakes today. Right now we're on Sturgeon Lake, and it's going to be fairly calm, I think, all day long. So we're going to go down Sturgeon Lake to the very end. You go through a lock there, you get into Bobcaygeon, you get past that, you're into another lake, Pigeon Lake I think it is. You go down Pigeon Lake, you'd make a left or a right, you get into another lake, you go further down. So there's a bunch of lakes we're going to be doing today. This is all part of the Trent-Severn waterway system. I don't know the numbers of these locks, I can't remember them, but yeah, we're all part of Trent-Severn, and we'll be on those waters all day today. Okay, everything is set. Everybody's just taken off. Looks like I'll be riding in the back of the pack a lot today, videotaping, so let's go. Bunch of swans. Look like they're newborns from this year. And you know what they call a baby swan? A cygnet. Not a cinglet, but a cygnet. Or do I have that the other way around? Can't remember. Well, that doesn't take very long. I think it's only about 13, 14 kilometers from where we launched from to get down towards the end of Sturgeon Lake and then towards the lock at Bobcaygeon. We're not quite there yet, but it's coming up pretty quick. $10K, no wake zone through here. There's an indication of the wind we've got for today. It's blowing a little bit, not all that strong though. Looks like a pretty nice day for a paddle on a kayak. Beautiful. If I thought my ears were a bit plugged before, they're really plugged now because I've put earplugs in both ears. So if I speak a little loud, that's why, because I've got the earplugs in. And I've got these sunglasses back on today. One of the subscribers who watches the channel had asked where I got them. And I had said I've ordered them out of China, out of Temu. And he said, I got another comment back from him. He said he ordered a pair, and he said he had the same reaction from his wife. She didn't like them, but he and I are both going to be wearing them now. So I need to be on my right-hand side because that's where I've got the rope tied up to. So I want to get on the wall over here because my rope is on that side. The locks are all free this summer. This is part of the federal government initiative for people to stay at home, so the locks are free this summer. I don't have to pay. I think they just take your registration number to see who's actually gone through. So this is, by the way, lock 32 on the Trent-Severn waterway, the Bobcaygeon lock. Bobcaygeon is a town that was made famous, if you recall, by that Tragically Hip song from a few years ago, that they kind of put this town on the map with that song Bobcaygeon. And I said in the past videos I thought it was Blue Rodeo, but no, it's Tragically Hip that did that song, Bobcaygeon, and that's where we are right now, in that lock. So there is not much of a drop in this lock at Bobcaygeon. I think she just said it's about 6.5 feet. So what they do is they come and they take a look at your registration number and they kind of just note that. There is no charge though, but what they're doing is just using it for statistics, things like that, how many people have gone through, that sort of thing, where those people are from. I guess they can check through the registration where the vessel is registered and just keep some statistics on that sort of information. But this is not a very deep lock. We only go down 6.5 feet and then we're out on the other side. Hi guys. Okay, so we come out of the Bobcaygeon lock. Once we get out of the Bobcaygeon lock, we enter a new body of water, and that would be Pigeon Lake. And then from Pigeon Lake, we're going to go down Pigeon Lake, and then we'll eventually get into another body of water called Buckhorn Lake. And I think there's another lock to go through a little bit further down. This is the swing bridge that they have here as well. If you got a bigger boat, it doesn't really matter for Seadoo so much, but if you've got bigger boats going through here, anything kind of other than a Seadoo, then they have to use the swing bridge, and traffic kind of gets backed up along the road here until the swing bridge does its thing and then swings back into place and traffic can resume again. Ah, there's another houseboat and another one. Maybe there's a rental situation here, I don't know. They kind of sort of look the same, but then maybe all houseboats sort of look the same. Gotta love that water slide off the back there. How is the water? Oh, that water is getting to be just like bath water now. It's very, very warm. We may have a chance to go for a swim or a little dip later today, but with a group this big, I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. It would be nice just to kind of jump in at some point later on in the day. There's a good place to get in. Just walk down the steps and you're in the water. Wow, there's a record you can be proud of. 100 years in operation on the Trent. Gordon Yacht Harbor. 100 years. Wow. Can you imagine what was here 100 years ago? Probably not a heck of a lot. Certainly not all those condos. Okay, a couple of couple of expert paddleboarders here. Do you want to test it with some wake? No. No, okay. Okay. They're doing really well. Beautiful morning for a little paddleboard. Nice and calm out here. But she just about went in. She just caught herself. Okay, I think we are through the no wake zone. And I will now enter the wake zone of all the Seadoos ahead of me. I think I'll let them get a little bit ahead of me before I take off, so I'm not driving in all that chop. Still pretty choppy right out here. lot of greenery out here, a lot of stuff growing in the water. This should, you'd think, be pretty good bird habitat. And I also see a lot of people out here fishing today, so fishing must be not too bad in this lake. Walleye, pike, maybe some bass. How deep is it? The water's not all that clear, so it's hard to tell. But isn't that kind of pretty all along there, all that green foliage growing along there? Bit of a slough back in over that way. And the guys have taken off. Got to catch them. Isn't that a pretty boat? Whoa! I was just out in Vancouver, and I was at a marina right in downtown Vancouver, and I saw one of those almost identical to that and the same color tied up along the wharf there. I think it was for sale, and the price was $380,000, I think. I think it was about a 5-year-old boat, if I remember right. I took a picture of it. I would have bought it, but how do I get it from Vancouver to Toronto? Okay, we are at our next lock, which is just up over this way. We've had lunch here once before, I think, right at this restaurant, the Main Street Bar and Grill. It's been a couple of years since I've been here, but yeah, I remember that restaurant. And the guys are just up over there. It's got a United States flag on. They're probably doing the Trent-Severn waterway system this summer, maybe going through all the locks all the way over to Georgian Bay, and maybe even the Great Loop all the way down into Lake Huron and then into Michigan. I think it's Michigan. And then back into Lake Ontario. Some big boats. That's the thing, when you've got some really big boats like that, it doesn't take too long to fill up the lock. You know, 3 or 4 of those boats, and a small lock like this gets filled up pretty quick.
So we'll go up, hang on to the black boat, that's very front. We'll hang on to the pontoon boat, and we'll stay on the left-hand side.
So this is what you call double stacking here today. We've got boats hanging on to boats in order to maximize the amount of space that we've got in the lock. So let's keep the similar GTXs together, okay? We don't want to contaminate with these other guys. You trying to get in here, Scott? This is probably the busiest lock that I have ever been in, and as Don just pointed out, he said, and it's a Tuesday. Can you imagine what this place looks like on a Saturday and Sunday? This is a Tuesday, and we are like 4 abreast, 5 abreast. He's squeezing every boat he can get into here. But now it is a nice day out. You know, it's calm, it's sunny, it's warm. It's a perfect day for being on the water. And there's probably a lot of people now on summer holidays at their cottages, and they're doing like a day trip through the Trent-Severn down the lake system. So, yeah, kind of not unexpected that it would be busy, but I'd hate to see it on the weekend. Okay, we are finally moving out of the lock. Yeah, that is a bit of the problem with the Trent-Severn waterway. When you get really busy days like this and you've got several of these locks to go through in a day and you're spending an hour at each lock to get through, it does take some time. And we've got a lot of Seadoos with us today. I think there's 8 Seadoos, maybe 9. So we're really just the Seadoos just kind of fit in around all the other boats that are in the lock. They just tuck them in, and sometimes they're 2 or 3 abreast. And just like that, we're at the next lock on the Trent-Severn system. What is the name of this lock? I've kind of forgotten. There's a sign up here, but we're going to go through that lock. I don't know if there's a bunch of boats on the other side waiting, or we're going to get to go through a little bit quicker. So while we're just sitting at the lock here waiting to go through, let me tell you a little bit about this Garmin unit. This is the Garmin unit that you get when you buy a Fish Pro Apex, the top of the line Fish Pro Seadoo, which is the most expensive Seadoo right now that you can buy. You get this Garmin on it. It's a 9-inch screen on there and it's completely all touch. The problem with it is I just got it installed yesterday from Uxbridge Motorsports Marine. The guys there put it on really quickly for me, but the problem is that I don't have the maps working in it yet. You can see there that those maps are just not very detailed at all. It's just kind of a basic map. Now I'm trying to figure out from Garmin, because I've already paid for the inland North America freshwater maps. Do I have those somewhere? How do I get those maps onto this Garmin, and how does that work? I tried playing around with it yesterday in the garage a little bit just after I got the Seadoo, but I couldn't seem to make it work, so I'm probably going to have to get a hold of Garmin. And also with Navionics, I'm using Navionics on the phone there. I've got a subscription to Navionics as well, but how does Navionics, which is owned by Garmin, now integrate into this new Garmin hardware on the GPS chart plotter? Got to figure all this stuff out yet. I remember when I got the first one, I had the same kind of issues. It took a little while to get it all figured out, but I will in the next number of days probably get it back in the garage and get Garmin on the phone and get them to walk me through it, how to make this thing work, because it will have a lot more detailed maps, and then we'll see just how good this chart plotter is. They tell me this is the only one in Canada that is not on a Fish Pro Apex, so it's the only Seadoo that has got a Garmin that big, the 9-inch screen on there. And I'll give you a review of it later on once I figure out how to use it and have a chance to test it a bit. But that's the size of the screen. That's a nice big screen on there, and that should be nice and easy to see. This is a 3.5-foot drop. So the droppage that we're doing today on these lock systems on the Trent through the Kawartha Lakes are not very much. 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet. This one 3.5.
Where are you guys going today?
We're just going down a little further for lunch.
Going back?
You can see why we're not following him. We're just going down a little further. You know, he doesn't really have a plan. Turn left.
Too bad of a plan.
Yeah.
Hanging out. There you go.
Look at all of this seaweed, or not seaweed obviously, but look at all this grass. Oh my God, there's a ton of it. You guys gotta get a rake and get this stuff out of here. It's not good for our machines.
I know, I'm very sorry. I'll have it cleaned up hopefully by the time you get back.
Nice. Just trying to avoid all that grass on the way out. That lock was just full of grass. That's the kind of stuff that easily gets sucked into an impeller, jams it up. It is just a perfect day out here today. The temperature is not overly hot, there's no humidity, and the water is just about like glass out here. It's just beautiful. So I got to tell you at least one, maybe two Yukon stories about my trip to the Yukon. The first one happened before I even left Toronto. I was at Pearson International Airport. I was flying Porter Airlines out to Vancouver, and I'd bought their premium reserve or whatever it is seats. So I was boarding first. So I get to the gate. Flight crew, by the way, is a little bit late for this flight, so they're kind of in a rush to get out of there once the flight crew arrives. I get to the gate, I'm about to board right in the first couple of rows, and she says, photo ID and boarding pass. So I give her my driver's license and the boarding pass, and she says, your driver's license has expired. I said, what? She said, yeah, it expired a month ago. And I said, oh, okay. She said, well, do you have a health card? So I give her the health card, and you can imagine what happened there. The health card had also expired on my birthday, which was in June. So I have no health card, no driver's license. They're now boarding the aircraft, and I'm standing, and I said, well, what am I supposed to do? You know, at the gate there. And she said, well, I guess you can go online, try to renew your driver's license. So that's what I did. Quickly went online, got a hold of the Ontario Ministry of Transportation website, got the driver's license numbers in, all the documentation you had to do for a renewal of a driver's license, got the credit card out, paid the $90, whatever it is, to renew a driver's license. And just as the last people had boarded the aircraft, I got this notification from the ministry saying, here's a document showing that your driver's license has been extended till October. And so I showed that to the agent at the gate. She said, okay, that'll do, that'll work, you can get on the plane. And I'm the last one on the plane. They close the door right away and the plane takes off and it's gone. So, okay, fine. I fly out to Vancouver. I get to Vancouver. I've got a couple hours between my flight to the Yukon. So I go to check in with the airline that I'm flying with, which is Air North. And I said, hey, you know, I've had a little bit of trouble in Toronto when I was getting on the plane there. Here's the story. But I've got this temporary pass that shows that I've got a driver's license till October 24th. Here it is. She says, that's no good. That's not going to work. You have to have a photo ID. I said, well, the number on the driver's license, the temporary one that I've got, matches the one that I've got with me, which is the one that's now expired. There's a photo on that, blah, blah, blah. She says, no, that's no good. Ministry of Transport regulations say you've got to have photo ID on a current ID. You cannot get on the plane. So I'm sitting at the Vancouver airport thinking, well, what the heck am I supposed to do now? She says, you don't happen to have a Nexus card, do you? And I thought, yes, I do have a Nexus card. I haven't used it much lately, but I reach into my wallet very slowly, pull out that Nexus card, hoping that it's not expired, because if it is, I'm in big trouble. Pull it out. It's good till 2027. So I managed to get on the plane and fly up to Whitehorse. But check your documentation cards, because they don't automatically notify now unless you ask them to on a form somewhere online, unless you ask them to let you know when your health card or your driver's license has expired, because I just did not know. You know, that's not something you check every day. Lesson learned. Well, I had the drone in the air a little while ago. I've lost the group, and I really don't know where they were going. I think they were going to a lunch spot, but nobody ever really told me where that lunch spot was. I think only the guy who was leading knows where the lunch spot is, and he's obviously not with me. So I don't know where the heck they're going for lunch. I've sent them a text, because there's a couple of different arms I could go here now on this lake, right or left or straight forward, and I have no idea where they went to. So maybe he'll see the text and tell me where he's at. We're on Stony Lake, I think, now. So if he says, you know, it's at the end of Stony Lake or something like that, then I can get there. But just don't know which direction to go right now until I hear from them. So I guess I'll keep going straight forward for a bit, because I think I did hear something about the end of Stony Lake. But that's the thing, when it's not really clear, when everybody, you know, unless you're staying right with the leader, then everybody sort of is there. But if you're following back like I am, and you don't know what the plan was, then you don't know where to go. I'm lost! Yeah, if I only had the name of the place they were going to, that would have helped. There's a little baby loon. Okay, let's move away from them. They're in a little bit of distress looking for the young guy who just dove under the water. They'll get reunited right away. Architecturally, this is one of the most unique places I've seen out on the water. Look at this place. It's just one long kind of room built right out along that little island here, this little peninsula. I guess it's a peninsula. That's really unique. Huh. Still no sign of the rest of the guys. Really don't know where they are right now. If I only knew the name of the restaurant, I could kind of look it up and find it, but I don't know that, so I'm just kind of hunting back and forth, looking for Seadoos on the water. I can't go much further in the direction I'm going. It comes to a dead end, so if they're not down there, then I guess I got to work my way back. You know, I'm right there. The dead end is right up there. Hard to see that. Yeah, if I only had the name of the place they were going to, that would have helped. So while we're waiting for this lock, second Yukon story. I get to the counter in Whitehorse to go get the rent-a-car that I've rented my vehicle through, which is a mid-size SUV Ford Expedition, I think it's called. So I get to the rental counter and I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm going to have a problem here because I've only got this temporary driver's license thing. But at the counter, they say, no, that's okay. That's no problem. You can rent the car. Would you like an upgrade? I said, well, an upgrade, what do you mean? He said, well, we have a XLT Ford 150 crew cab pickup. If you want to get that, same price, no more money. You can rent the pickup truck for the same price as this other thing. I thought, well, I haven't driven a pickup in a long time. Okay, I'll take the pickup truck. So I take the pickup truck, pick it up. Second day in Whitehorse, I'm heading out of town just a little bit on a paved road towards a lake called Marsh Lake. And out of nowhere, a massive rock hits the front windshield of the truck and just about comes right through it. Shatters the whole front windshield of the truck, bounced up off the asphalt and the pavement and hit the window of the truck dead on. Glass all over the dash, glass all over me. Kept the truck straight and got it parked on the side of the road. Cleaned all the glass up, took all the glass out. Then I went to Marsh Lake. On the way back, I stopped at an auto glass place because I wanted to have an idea how much it was going to cost to replace that window on the truck. Get there, the guy looks it up in the book. He says it'll be $1,800 to replace it. I said, do you have one of those? He said, no, it'll take 4 days to get one into Whitehorse. So I thought, okay, that option's out if I had to replace it. Then I go to my credit card company in the morning because I had declined all extra insurance. So I go to the credit card company in the morning, phone them after about 3 transfers through Visa. They say, yeah, you have coverage for collision on your vehicle. And you want to open a claim? I said, yeah. So they open up a claim. And then after about 4 questions, she asked me, what type of vehicle were you driving? I tell her it's a pickup truck. She says, oh, we don't cover glass on pickup trucks. I said, you don't? She said, no. So I said, I guess we're done. She said, yeah, we're done. So I had to go back to budget, went to the guy in the counter downtown Whitehorse, told him what happened, said, you know, this really wasn't my fault. The rock just bounced up off the pavement and this is what happened. He looked at the glass in the window. He said, are you all right? I said, yeah, I thought that rock was going to come right through. He said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to backdate the auto glass insurance coverage on the policy to the time of the rental, and I'm going to get this covered. So that $1,800 that I was thinking was going to come out of my pocket for that trip for that glass was covered, and I didn't have to pay for that. So that is my second Yukon story. Just put $40 in. $40, excuse me, and 27 cents. I happen to have a quarter, so it worked out. So that will definitely get me back now. I'm 3/4. Might have got back. I was just starting to get a low fuel indicator warning on the Seadoo, so it would have been close. Better to have enough gas than not enough. And it's mid-grade, no ethanol. All right, that should work. Well, I think that's going to do it, guys, for this Yukon Bob video. It was a partial ride today with the Seadoo Tours riding group. You know, I'm going to tell them that there was just too many of them, too big a group. I like to ride with smaller groups. I'll tell them that's why I left them, when actually they left me. But they went to the lunch spot. I did not know where the lunch spot was. By the time I got turned around at a far end of a lake, I was in the wrong direction from where they were. By the time I would have got back to them and had lunch, it would have been holding everybody up. So just decided to make the run back by myself. And then I got a little bit more drone footage on the way back too. Plus I could slow the pace down just a little bit. For me, they're riding just a little bit too fast, 70, 80 kilometers an hour. I don't need that. 50 is plenty for me. I get to see more that way, and I get to show you guys more that way too. So thanks for coming along on this Yukon Bob Seadoo video. Back on the water again after a hiatus for a couple of weeks from that trip to the Yukon. Nice to have you with me on this trip, and we'll see you guys real soon out on the water somewhere around Southern Ontario. Till then, stay safe on the water, and we'll see you real soon. Bye for now.